gone. Our handlers aren't answering. He broadcast in 12 hours.
They abandoned us.
It's all one operation. They paid Mitchell, Williams, and the others to block reopening, then funded the protest to make it look like America wanted the shutdown. The same foreign money.
The same foreign money.
We have the votes to reopen. Democrats are terrified of the political guillotine from their radical base.
We have the votes to reopen. Democrats are terrified of the political guillotine from their radical base. Our marshals are positioned.
22 days. That's how long Democrats have held your paycheck hostage, and now we have the smoking gun. The number 2 House Democrat just said the quiet part out loud. While federal workers struggle to feed their families, while veterans wait for their benefits, while Border Patrol agents work without pay, the Democrat leadership sees your suffering as leverage. They're not trying to fix it, okay? They're actually celebrating it. And what you're about to hear is going to make your blood boil. This is not incompetence. This isn't gridlock. This is a deliberate strategy to inflict maximum pain on the American people. Oh, and wait till those SNAP benefits dry up. Oh, all hell's going to break loose. We got it all on tape, so stay with me. And have you ever wondered, though, what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Just like federal workers wondering when their next paycheck will come, Chuck faced his own challenges, but he found a solution. I recently saw a video he made. I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking butt, working out and staying active. He discovered that by addressing just 3 key things that sabotage our health as we age, you can transform your body and energy levels. He made a very special video, explains everything, so go to the link in the description, chuckdefense.com/next, or just click the link below. You will not believe just how simple it is. And we thank Chuck Norris for sponsoring this program. President Trump in the Oval Office today, continuing to lament about the shutdown that continues to plague this nation.
Well, I think it's a shame that it's shut down because we have the greatest economy, as you were saying before. We have the greatest economy in the world right now, by far, the United States. We have almost 18, now it was 17, now it's $18 trillion being poured into our country, and it's no time for shutdowns. I don't think it's affecting what we're doing, but it's too bad for a lot of people. We have a lot of good people that aren't working right now that should be, and it's because the Democrats want to try and renegotiate a deal that they had negotiated. They want $1.5 trillion given to illegal immigrants who came into the country, and it's going to hurt the health care of citizens of our country that have been paying into it, that have been working hard for it, that really deserve it. So we're never going to do that. It's not going to happen. And I will tell you, there are a lot of good Democrats that really want to make a deal. And I think all we need is 5 Democrats because we have a great support on the Republican side. So I think we need 5 Democrats, and there are a lot of them that want to make a deal. So I think at some point, common sense will prevail. Well, I think it's
so
a
now
shame.
we only need 5 Democrats to cross the line, but will they? Will they cross Chuck Schumer is the bigger question. Louisiana governor, this just 4 hours ago, warning residents that SNAP benefits will not be loaded on cards in November due to the government shutdown. This is from the Louisiana Department of Health. Notice to all SNAP card holders, if you recall our video on this topic, if you are a SNAP holder, I mean, you're not going to get your benefits. And we played you the clips of all of those card holders who literally said they're going to start robbing Walmarts, robbing the grocery stores, robbing the convenience stores, robbing individuals as they take their groceries to their cars. This is what they have already threatened to do publicly. It's like a TikTok trend. Notice all SNAP card holders, due to the federal government shutdown in Washington, D.C., SNAP benefits will not be uploaded to your card for November of 2025. Any remaining SNAP benefits on your card from previous months can still be used. SNAP benefit issuance will resume once the federal government reopens in Washington, D.C. Now, I said this before. I thought it was going to be the air traffic controllers that are going to put the pressure on the elected body to open up government again. But I think that as soon as you see everybody rioting in the streets because their SNAP cards aren't working and mass looting ensues, they might start singing a different tune, unless that's, of course, their intended, result. That's what they want. And here we have this, Senator John Fetterman, we've played some of his clips before, and this guy's growing on me like that lump on his neck. He just posted this 8 hours ago. He's one of the few voices of reason left in the Democrat Party. Quite shocking because I was not happy that he won. But again, he's growing on me. He posted this: shut our government down and America loses. 2 million Pennsylvanians depend on SNAP to feed their families. That's 2 million Pennsylvanians. And then their dependents. So, I mean, if you got 2 kids, I mean, that number just triples, quadruples. So we're talking multiples, millions of people going to be affected just in Pennsylvania alone. In the story we did yesterday, we ran down the list from the Department of Agriculture of all of the states that are going to be affected. Just quite literally millions and millions and millions of people. Fetterman says, for me, it's hungry Americans over party. Paying our military over party. Paying Capitol Police and federal workers over party. I choose country over party. Let's check out what Fetterman's saying.
Pennsylvania. Hi, here we are, and our government remains closed. And I think that's failure. And I'm the guy that's going to consistently vote for country over party. I'm always going to vote for paying our military over the party. I'm always going to vote for paying the Capitol Police over my party. And I'm going to continue to fight for the 2 million Pennsylvanians that depend on SNAP to feed themselves. And I'm also going to fight for the same 400,020 Pennsylvanians that depend on those tax credits to make health insurance more affordable. 2 things are true, and now we can fight for all of them as long as our government is open. My vote is going to remain firmly on keeping our government open, and I'm going to continue to fight for all of those Pennsylvanians that I'm honored to represent here. Hi, here we are.
I really hope that his voice continues to resonate and grow, and I hope that people will hear that and say, well, why is my senator being such an asshole? Right? Here we have the unhinged whip, Katherine Clark, accusing the press secretary of lying after she quoted the congresswoman's own words from an interview she did on tape. Democrats are not sending their best. This is Rapid Response 47. And they were quote tweeting Caroline Leavitt because she said the Democrats are now admitting they're intentionally causing American families to suffer with their reckless government shutdown. So here is the Democrat whip, Katherine Clark, accusing the press secretary of lying.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just posted a clip of an interview that you did on Fox last week. You were answering a question from Fox's Chad Pergram about blame for the shutdown. I want to look at the post here.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
I want to point out that this video that you just saw is actually playing on like a 65-inch screen right outside of Speaker Johnson's office on a loop. Okay? I'll play it a little bit. I'll play it again.
Families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
Leavitt is looking especially at that last bit you said there, saying that Democrats, quote, are now admitting that they are intentionally causing American families to suffer with their reckless government shutdown. What's your response to that?
Well, that is right out of her playbook of half-truths, taking things out of context, and not being straight with the American people. And she knows what I said.
White House Press Secretary Caroline.
She knows what I said. We know what you said. And you know what you said. Okay? And you just got called out for it. And you're saying, oh, it's straight out of her playbook. No. How many clips do we have to show you of Democrats talking about how dangerous shutdowns are for the American people? We've played it over and over again. We got this. President Trump has stated he will meet with Democrats to discuss any spending requests they have. Before he will do that, the Democrats must first end the filibuster in the Senate and stop blocking the government from opening so the military and others can get paid. See what he said there? They must end the filibuster. If they shut that down, they can pass this thing and get it open. And, of course, here we have one of those scholars, a couple of them here, scholars discussing their SNAP benefits.
Coming no more days. My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps off.
If you're poor, don't have kids, okay? If you're struggling, don't have kids. Don't bring more in. If you already have them, that's another situation. If you don't have them, don't bring any in. And if you have two, don't go having another one. If you have one, don't go having two more.
So they say 2 million is getting cut off this month for the scamps. I'm about to go find out if I'm in that number, in that ratio. It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be...
Actually, no, it's not, honey. Grow up. Get a job. Here's another one.
Be one of the... And I'm letting it be known now, I will be one of the looters. I will not be watching from the news. I will not be missing out on steaks and oxtails for free. Thank you. And I'm letting it be known now, I will be one of the looters. I will not be watching from...
Can we get a translator in here?
The news. I will not be missing out on steaks and oxtails for free.
Steaks and oxtails for free. Okay, that's what she was saying. Steve Scalise just exposed Senator John Ossoff after it's revealed that he is reportedly banking millions during the Schumer shutdown. Out-of-state donors flooding his campaign while Georgians suffer. Trump stated that ACA negotiations will follow the government reopening, yet Ossoff refuses to support over 1 million of his own constituents. Here is Steve Scalise.
He needs to go on vacation. Well, let's look at Senator Ossoff's state of Georgia. 1.4 million people are going to face losing SNAP benefits just in his home state. Now, does he want each of them to send about $2 each to him to make up for the $3 million he's getting from California, in Illinois, in New York, in Minnesota? Is that what it's going to take? Because he's causing pain on people in his home state by voting no. Maybe he needs to go on vacation instead of showing up every day, as Senator Simpson said, showing up to vote no to inflict pain on 1.4 million people in the state of Georgia. That's what he's doing. So this is having real impacts on real families. We're here working, and the House has passed the bill, despite 99% of Democrats voting. And the House has passed the bill, despite 99% of Democrats voting no. Again, President Trump said yes, they say no. Well, let's look at...
Yeah, the pain is real, and they want to inflict it on you. Senator Katie Boyd, U.S. Senator for the great state of Alabama, fighting to grow opportunities for hardworking families and preserve the American dream for our children. She says there's a very straightforward solution to ensure SNAP benefits don't end for 42 million Americans. 42 million. Senate Democrats could simply join us in voting to end the Schumer shutdown.
Yeah, you mentioned the nation's anti-hunger.
Here she is on ABC News Live. This is Senator Britt, actually. Senator Britt.
Your program SNAP plays a critical role in reducing poverty, including for residents in your home state of Alabama. In the fiscal year 2024, more than 750,000 residents, or 15% of your state's population, benefited from SNAP. What are you doing to try to ensure that those benefits aren't interrupted because of the shutdown?
Yeah, we actually just had this conversation today. I was able to speak with Russ Vought. Obviously, money is running out, and people will go without their SNAP benefits as soon as the end of this month or the very beginning of the next month. Look, these are real things. These are real consequences. And this is what I wish my Democrat colleagues would realize. They can open the government today, vote on a clean CR. Lindsay, you have been doing this a long time. You know that this bill is just something that they have voted on 13 times. Republicans did not put any type of nugget in there, no Republican priority. Our only priority was the American people.
You mentioned the nation's anti-hunger programs.
Yeah, they could just simply reopen government. Everyone will be fine. I think they want this chaos, though, from these outraged SNAP recipients. Here's that video of Whip Katherine Clark, the number 2 House Democrat on the Democrat shutdown. Of course, there will be families that are going to suffer. But it's one of the few leverage times we have. Did you see that? There will be families that are going to suffer. But it's one of the few leverage times we have. Using people's suffering as leverage. That's how sick these people are.
Leveraged. I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have. I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And
disgusting. And here we have Senator Ted Cruz. Before the shutdown, Cruz stopped his own pay. No other Democrats did. Next time politicians play games with our paychecks, theirs should stop too. Do you agree?
Deposit.
Ted Cruz stopped his pay on day one.
Ordinarily, during the shutdown, members of Congress continue to get their paycheck. I believe that's wrong. And so before the shutdown began, I sent a letter to the Secretary of the Senate saying, please hold my paycheck. Do not deposit a dollar of salary in my bank account until the shutdown is over.
Ted Cruz stopped his pay on.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. President Trump has clearly stated in the Oval he will meet with the Democrats to end this thing.
Well, we're continuing to work very hard to try to reopen the government, Jesse, and we are now on day 21 of the government shutdown. Democrats have voted 11 straight times against the Republican-led clean continuing resolution to keep the government open. And it's quite peculiar because they voted for 13 times in the past for this exact same type of funding bill. As the president very clearly stated in the Oval Office today, he will gladly meet with Democrats to talk about health care or whatever other issue that they want to talk about. And by the way, it's the Democrats who created the broken health care system in this country through Obamacare that has led to rising premium and costs. It's this president, President Trump, who is taking on big pharma, who is cutting deals with them, who is working with insurance companies across the board to bring down the cost of health care in this country. But he's not going to have those conversations until Democrats simply vote to reopen the government. There are damning consequences every single day. Nearly 500,000 Americans are going without their paychecks right now. President wants to put people back to work, and he's calling on Senate Democrats to do the right thing, have a little bit of courage to stand up to their far left radical base and vote to reopen the government. Well, we're continuing.
As you heard President Trump earlier, there's about 5 Democrats that need to cross the aisle and cross Chuck Schumer. Here is Speaker Johnson exposing Chuck Schumer for trying to pressure Trump into a backroom deal. Trump has made it clear he will not bend the knee. Wow.
It was never so Republicans cannot and will not solve it in a backroom deal. Chuck Schumer has been suggesting that 4 leaders should go into a smoke-filled back room like they used to do in the old days and create this solution. It's not a possible thing to do. It was never appropriate. It's not possible to put on a continuing resolution because it's such a complex issue. Issues of this magnitude deserve deep thought and deliberation. That's how this system works here. And as soon as Chuck Schumer reopens the government, all of our members will have an opportunity to engage in the very important discussion of how to make Obamacare affordable. But we won't engage in Democrats' hostage taking, nor will we pay a ransom. So Republicans...
How crazy is this? All they got to do is reopen government, and then they can have the conversation. On Fox, Dana Perino calls out Democrats on the shutdown. We know how this ends, and Democrats are just deciding to draw out the pain. The suffering is optional.
I said at the very beginning when this started that we know how this ends. And it's just the Democrats are deciding to draw out the pain. Right? The suffering is optional, and they are taking the option. Government shutdowns, whoever wants to reopen the government, that's the side that wins. President Trump wants to reopen the government. Therefore, the president is winning by a little, but also the Democrats aren't doing anything to help themselves. When is the last time you saw a Democrat on TV making a compelling case? They change the topic all the time. You know, I'm a podcast enthusiast. I listen to a bunch. Listen to a Democrat today. Some great ideas about social media and about the state of the Democratic Party. Never once did they talk about health care or the situation with the shutdown. It's not even on the front page of any of the papers. I checked today with friends who live in Virginia, especially Northern Virginia, where there's that big gubernatorial race. It's not in any of the ads. They're talking about abortion and Jay Jones. So to me, the consultants or the people who are spending money on the issues, they know that it is not working for them. But the closer we get to the cutoff for military families not getting money or air traffic controllers getting that zero on their paycheck, that's when everybody collectively might have a little bit more pain, and the Democrats might find a way to find 10 senators to strategically allow them to do this, because the fever pitch for wanting the shutdown happened last March when Chuck Schumer went ahead and did the vote for the CR. And then all of the progressives started saying, AOC, you have to primary him. We have to get him out. Hence, we are in this position. So how long do they want to draw out the pain in order to play Chuck Schumer's game?
Greg, what are your
I said
She just laid it all out there. Because Schumer bent the knee in March. AOC and her radical cohorts freaked out, talked about primarying Schumer, and here we are. Now it's AOC and the radical communists who are trying to squeeze the pain out of every American. Instead of voting to end the shutdown, only 4 Democrat senators can vote to end the shutdown. Senator Jeff Merkley held the Senate hostage for 14 hours, forcing unpaid Capitol Police and Senate staffers to work overnight. Democrat senators filibuster blocks vote to reopen government. Sick people.
The president and his company. Let's see. 10% would be 100,000. So we're talking about $40,000. $40,000. Well, what if you buy $1 billion now of those coins? Now we're talking about the president and his company getting not $40,000, but $40 million. Let's see.
What is he babbling about there? That's the thing about these filibusters. Sometimes they just go and read the Bible, they read the dictionary. This guy's talking about tokens and coins. Now it's been exposed that Democrats shut down the government because they want funds going to Zimbabwe and Iraq Sesame Street. Remember when USAID got gutted and all those little pet projects got shut down? Well, it looks like all those NGOs are freaking out because their gravy train dried up and they want that money back. Zimbabwe and Iraqi Sesame Street. Listen to this.
The Balkans, they're sacrificing Head Start right down your street to produce Iraq Sesame Street. So they'd rather spend money on Iraqi Sesame Street than fund your Head Start programs. But President Trump is, the bad guy for putting America first. Scratch your head on that one. They're risking the safety of American skies for LGBTQI programs in the Balkans, right? Putting the Balkans over the safety of our skies. They're jeopardizing millions of paychecks to Americans to support woke programs in Honduras, Zimbabwe, Mexico, Venezuela, and Lebanon. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think that is absolutely shameful. Let me be clear. A shutdown should never be used as leverage for more wasteful spending. They're sacrificing.
But that's what they're willing to do because that's more important to them than actual Americans getting their benefits. Brian Glenn, 10 hours ago, order Congress back to D.C. We are burning calendar days.
Back in their offices. So every day that goes by narrows the window of opportunity for Republicans. So I kind of wish that Speaker Johnson would call members back into session, get back in their offices, get back in these meetings, and let's work on a plan to solve these problems. And let's not allow this shutdown to shut off the dialogue that needs to go on right now amongst House members. So every day that goes by narrows the window of opportunity for Republicans. So I kind of wish that Speaker Johnson would call members back into session, get back in their offices, get back in these meetings, and let's work on a plan to solve these problems. And let's not allow this shutdown.
Jesse Waters. So, Jessica, that CNN poll by Harry Enton goes right in your face because you always say how Democrats are winning the shutdown, and it doesn't look like it.
Oh, that poll.
All right, so Jessica, That poll just goes right in your face because you always say how the Democrats are winning the shutdown battle, and it doesn't look like it.
Well, that poll was about Donald Trump's personal approval rating. And when I saw this in our packet, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be some enormous number. And then it was +1. And there's also, from the same time during the shutdown, the AP poll, which has him at his lowest second-term approval at 37%. So, take it for what you will. Harry Enton was back on TV this morning with one that I feel like would be in your face. He said, I was shocked to see how Dems have gained on party ID per Gallup. Dems lead by 7 points versus a tie at the start of the year. Looks a lot more like 2018 cycle than 2022. 2018, I liked that very, very much. But the shutdown is about Democratic Party versus the Republican Party. Greg will taunt me about 2028, but Donald Trump will not be on the ballot. If he is, then the TDS is going to be through the roof. And Republicans are losing the shutdown battle between 10 and 15 percentage points. The American public blames them for it because they are the ones that are in charge. They are in charge of every facet of government, and they have to compromise.
Oh, shut up. We only need 5 votes. The president said it himself. Lydia Monahan on what's included in the Democrats' $1.5 trillion counter proposal in order to reopen government. Like we just showed you, all the pork. $3.9 million for LGBTQ plus democracy grants in the Balkans.
For the CR. Here's a headline from CNN today. We absolutely need him. Some in the GOP say it is time for Trump to get involved in shutdown talks, even though the GOP leaders are rebuffing that idea. Lydia, is it time for Trump? He could be the person that just says, okay, let's get this done.
Well, how many Democrats have voted for the CR? It was good enough for them to vote on in March, and now something has changed, and they're not willing to vote on the same CR that they were once willing to support. And I think it's pretty clear that it's Schumer and a lot of Democrats who are bowing to the left flank of their party, people who...
Because Schumer doesn't want to get primaried by AOC. That's what it comes down to. Schumer is afraid of a bartender.
Want to see movement and want to see action. And their whole framework for why they should do this is really flawed. As Obama said, elections have consequences. And they basically want to undo the rightfully passed big, beautiful bill that the Republicans signed into law. That is what this whole effort that they are making. And yes, it's about healthcare, but there's also all kinds of pork actually that is in this bill. There's $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans, $13.4 million for civic engagements in Zimbabwe, $2.9 million for desert locust relocation in Africa. And they're the ones who have time and time again, now after 11 votes, been...
Desert locust relocation in Africa. Who the hell put that in the bill? What senator said, yeah, we need this line item in here? Desert locust relocation in Africa. I thought that locusts, aren't they like, they migrate? They're always going to the same place back and forth? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an insect specialist. But still, that's beside the point. Why are we giving a shit about locusts in Africa? That's what's holding this thing up? People are lunatics. But just you wait. When those SNAP benefits dry up, all hell is going to break loose. And I think that's exactly what they want. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is why the shutdown matters, America. Katherine Clark's confession proves what we have suspected all along. Democrats view your pain as political currency. While Ted Cruz stopped his own paycheck out of principle, not one single Democrat has done the same. They are getting paid to make you suffer. They're funding LGBTQ democracy grants in the Balkans and moving locusts in Africa while American families can't buy groceries. This is not governance. It's economic terrorism. And now we have the receipts. 22 days of manufactured misery, all to protect their globalist slush funds. So the question is simple. Do you believe that Democrats should keep their paychecks while forcing federal workers to go without? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you're as fired up as I am, why don't you check out the Next News merch shop? It's linked in the description because we're fighting this information war together.